Greetings, yogis and yoginis. We'll start off with another poem. This one is one I think I first read when I was about 18. It's by Dylan Thomas, wonderful Welsh poet, and it's called The Hunchback in the Park. The hunchback in the park, a solitary mister propped between trees and water, from the opening of the garden lock that lets the trees and water enter until the Sunday sombre bell at dark. Eating bread from a newspaper, drinking water from the chained cup that the children fill with gravel in the fountain basin where I sailed my ship. Slept at night in a dog kennel, but nobody chained him up. Like the park birds, he came early. Like the water, he sat down. And "Mister," they called. "Hey, mister," the truant boys from the town. Running when he'd heard them clearly, on out of sound, past lake and rockery, laughing when he shook his paper, hunchbacked in mockery, through the loud zoo of the willow groves, dodging the park keeper with his stick that picks up leaves. And the old dog sleeper, alone between nurses and swans, while the boys among the willows made the tigers jump out of their eyes to roar on the rockery stones. And the groves were blue with sailors, made all day until bell time, a woman figure without fault, straight as a young elm, straight and tall from his crooked bones, that she might stand in the dark after the locks and chains, all night in the unmade park, after the railings and shrubbery, the birds, the grass, the trees, the lake, and the wild boys, innocent as strawberries, had followed the hunchback to his kennel in the dark. Let's do some yoga. I must just remove this skirt. If you could come onto your hands and knees. Now place the knees and the hands carefully so that you can get an even pressure between the leaning into the hands and the sinking into the knees. And you'll just feel that the navel can float up a little bit and lighten this fire in the middle. And as you inhale, you slowly reach forward with your sternum. Let your lower back arch and the buttocks separate just a little. And as you breathe out, you just let your waist float up and lengthen your elbows, soften your feet, drop your head, and tuck your chin a little in. Inhaling reverse. This is the cat. Exhaling round, the angry cat. Very good one for the ujjayi breathing. Especially the exhale when you feel it in your throat. Very light in the inhale. Warming the spine. The breath grows lighter and lighter. On the next exhale, just take your elbows down and your bottom, keep it up. Stretching the back. taking the belly toward the thighs, the elbows toward the floor, and then soften your neck and drop your head. Inhale, lift the head, straighten the elbows into that forward arch. Exhale, back with the bottom, down with the elbows. Dropping the head. Inhale, up, arch. And then bring your right knee a little bit closer to the center. So on the next in-breath, you're going to reach back your left heel, flex the foot, and hold. And lower, close to the other leg, and right leg up. And lower, left, lower, right. And lower. Leave your knees together, curl your toes, lift your knees and slowly come up with your bottom, keeping the face looking a little bit forward. Slowly easing, stretching through the feet, through the ankles, lengthening the calves, careful of the cramping in the thighs. Taking your chin into your throat. And of course, when you get there, adjust and make sure your feet are centered. So between the two hands and the 2 feet is like a triangle. And you hold. This is a dog with narrow knees. Lowering the knees. This time the knees can come a little bit wider. And we do another cat. Take the bottom back and walk the hands slowly toward you. So you're creeping your cat toward you. Taking your bottom down in between your heels or on top of your heels is fine. And ease your way down, turning the palms to the ceiling, dropping the chin into the throat, dropping the bottom to the floor, stretching the back of the spine. Make sure your hands are soft and graceful into the humility posture. Lift your head, release your hands, take the hands behind you, reach down, lengthen your elbows, try to get it even. Arch the back, lift the chest. You can be on the knuckles or the fingertips, or you can hold onto the feet. Arching the back. Opening the heart. But at the same time, reaching your pubic bone down toward the floor. So we're keeping the arch in the lower back. And then slowly lift the face. Slide the hands forward to the front of the mat. Curl the toes into the dog. Lower the knees. Bring your left knee to your left thumb and your left heel under your right hip. Pigeon. And ease down. Lengthening your elbows and stretching your hips down and a little bit back, and your shoulders down and a little bit back. Sternum a little bit forward. So you're sneaking as low as you can. And then maybe onto your elbows. And maybe all the way down, putting the forehead on the hands. At the same time, bend your right knee and rotate the ankle. And reverse. And lower that back leg, curl the toe and lift the back knee. And then lower, flatten the foot, lift the face, come onto the hands. Nice and strong, long elbows. Take the sternum away from that front knee. Keep the buttocks even behind, soft buttocks. And then looking up. Forward is fine, or up a bit. Look forward, curl the toes in the back and step back to the dog. Easing into the long calves. Try to keep it nice and even, nice and symmetrical. And between your left leg and your right leg, between your left hand and your right hand. And now we'll bring the right knee forward beside the right thumb and the right heel under the left hip. It'll be very different this side. So wriggle yourself flat as you can. Relax both legs. Adjust the hands so you can center the weight. Stay like that if you want to. Or maybe come onto your elbows. And stay like that if you want to. Or maybe all the way down onto the forehead. And try to really let go. You need to trust that you're not going to hurt yourself. This yoga takes quite a lot of courage. Bend your back knee, that's the left knee, rotate the ankle. Reverse. Lower. Curl the toe, lift the knee. Get that nice stretch through the left thigh. And then lower the knee, flatten the foot. Flop a bit. And lift your head and walk back with the hands a little closer. Again, aiming for this symmetry between the left and the right side. And then as you press into your hands and lengthen into your left leg, you lift your chest and maybe your gaze. Lighten your breath. Looking forward, curl the toe behind and step back into the dog. You need generous distance between the hands and the feet for the vinyasa. So you lift your heels and drop your knees so they feel quite close to the floor. You then look forward, bend your elbows and come forward with over your toes and lift up. And push into the hands and float over the toes and adjust the feet when you get there. Take your time. If you found it didn't quite work, you might like to take the feet slightly further back. And again, you lift the heels and take the knees down. Lift the face, bend the elbows as the legs straighten and you pull the whole body over the toes, lifting up the face, pushing into the hands, rolling back to the dog. Softening your buttocks. Relaxing your face. And then again, lower your knees. Flatten your feet, walk your hands toward you. And settle between the feet. Or on the heels or legs out in front. The hands go back. Arch. And forward into child posture, the hands resting beside the feet, the belly snuggling between the thighs, the chest relaxing onto your legs, and the head hanging as the neck relaxes. And you feel the skin like a shell over you. And as you breathe, you move your shell just a little away from your body. And as you breathe out, you feel the shell securely press against your back. Gently uncurl and take your knees to the edge of the mat and your big toes to touch. And just a little bit you could maybe massage your knees and your thighs. Then the hands come in front and walk or slide forward. About halfway. And then take the navel toward the thumbs and the top of the head toward the ceiling. And then maybe another step. Everyone will be different. Trying to keep length through the spine so those vertebrae don't get glued together. Once you can get your elbows to the floor, you do so, and cup your chin. And stay there a moment. And then the right hand comes down, the left elbow can lift up. And down. Right elbow up. And down. Left, up, and down. Right, up, and down. Again, you cup the chin, or perhaps you can lengthen a bit further forward and drop the head. And feel each breath stretch the spine from the navel into two directions at once. From here, if you don't already have your hands on the floor, bring them on the floor and interlace the hands and take the knees in. And curl the toes and hang the head. And then pushing into the elbows, you're going to lift up, stretching up into the dolphin. So you need strong arms. You're really leaning on your elbows, gripping your hands, but most importantly, lifting the pelvis.
And then lower the knees and come forward. So the next time you can move into the stick. The stick has the bottom in line with the back, in line with the legs, so there's no sticking up of the bottom. You try to keep your breath as smooth and light and effortless as you can. So you start to feel the difference between the huffing and puffing sort of holding and the holding which looks after itself. Then lower your legs, release your feet, adjust if you need to where your arms are, and just relax your legs. And just slowly take the weight from side to side. Little movement in the neck. Little movement in the shoulders. Back of the chest, the hips, the pubic bone, the thighs. Come back to the center, we'll do a little arch. It's a bit like the cat. And then rounding. Again, you'll use, and up again, the Ujjayi breath. And then come absolutely still and separate your hands, or you can leave them together if you want to. Now, this is the Sphinx, so the Sphinx is looking straight ahead. The eyes are open, the gaze is quite still. You feel as if your elbows are stretching the mat a bit forward. The legs are a little bit long. Chin's not too lifted. If your neck gets tired with this one, feel free to relax the neck. Now watch the breath in the belly, filling. And emptying. And from here, just come down. Take your arms beside you and try lifting up onto your hands. So have your arms long and your thumbs along in the line of the groin. The fingers spread out so you can really feel and sort of press into your thighs. You then lift your knees, lengthen your knees, push the hands into the thighs and take the head down. Then lower the legs. Release the hands. Bring them forward. And you can do the Sphinx again, or the Cobra. Cobra has the elbows by the waist, but comes up similarly to the Sphinx. Only it's a little bit more of an arch. And slowly down. And we'll come onto the right side. supporting your head with your right hand. Flex the feet, nice and long through the thighs, and then lift the left leg. And use the pressure of the two hands, the right elbow and the right foot, to inspire that lift. And lower. And turn down. And back to the cat. Arching, inhale. Rounding, exhale. Arching cat. Rounding. Move your hands slightly closer. Take your toes slightly further apart, and curl the toes under and lift the knees. And we move toward the squat. So start off on the balls of the feet. And just feel the weight of your knees and your elbows a little bit sinking together like the cards when you're building a house of cards. And then you can relax your pelvis and your buttocks, your anus, your pelvic floor. Just feel the toes can relax. Feel the lightness of the arches. And experiment with a little bit further down with the bottom, making sure you're not hurting your knees or your hips or your back. Hang your head. If you can get your heels to the floor, you bring the prayer position under the chin. And then drop your bottom down and bring your legs forward and come to lie on your back. A minute you straighten your legs and let go. Straighten your legs and let go. Straighten your legs and let go. Now if you bend the knees and you lift the left foot and put the outside of the left ankle in front of the right knee, you can stretch up the right leg. And slowly bring the right leg toward you. Then you take your left arm and you thread it between your thighs. Then you can hold on to that leg. Some of you will be able to touch the toe at the top. And just feel where it wants to go. Don't break it. You need sensitivity for yoga practice. Remember, when you breathe out, you need to be able to let go just a little bit more. And release. The legs. Take the feet to the floor, bent knees. Let the knees fall in together like the cards in the house of cards. Let your lower back roll forward and roll back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Sensuous. Let it ripple. And release. And now put the outside of the right ankle in front of the left knee and take the left leg up. Make sure you put this foot in a position where it's not uncomfortable in the ankle, the knee or the thigh, or the hip, or the back. And again, you can help with the hands, possibly holding onto those toes, if you can reach them. Once you get a good grip, it's easier to relax the legs. They feel secure. It's like they're wearing a brace. And release. Knees bent, hands beside, relax the back. Let the lower back arch. And then lift the feet, embrace the legs. Lift the nose. Flex the feet. Grip the elbows. Slowly down onto your left side. Flexing the feet and lifting the right leg, using the other limbs to support the lift. So you press into your right hand, you reach into your left heel, you press into your left elbow. And lower. And turn over. Hands under the shoulders, lifting into the cobra. And then the bottom comes up and back. The hands move so that when you curl your toes under, you'll be in the dog. Your left leg can reach back. Left knee to the floor. Turn to the right. Right leg lifts. Left leg is coming, by the ear. And down, be careful of the cramping. And we'll do the right. And release onto the knees, Virasana. I will just move a little bit, the bottom, from side to side. Just seeing how the body's feeling. Let's try sitting the bottom to the left and then holding onto the right foot, keeping everything quite down if you can, and lifting the chest and turning over your right shoulder. And slowly back to the front. Take the right foot and place it beside the left thigh. Let your left arm embrace your right thigh and squeeze it close. Let your right buttock drop down if it can. Your right hand can support you by squeezing hold of that right foot and pushing into the floor. So you can squeeze your left elbow, push into your right, lift your chest, and find perhaps a little more space in the waist, a little bit more space between each of your vertebrae. And then looking over your right shoulder. Relax your legs. Now coming forward, take your right foot and move it a little bit further to the left. To see how this one goes. You can always straighten the underneath leg if it's too hard. So kind of wriggling a bit, moving the right knee so it aligns with the left knee, or as best as it can. Mine doesn't like this much anymore. And then you need to find this beautiful triangular shape and squeeze the feet and adjust and wriggle the bottom. And find the spine can still remain with a light arch in the lower back. And then the hands settling interlaced on the front knee. The chin goes in a bit. You feel your two buttocks, your two hips. You feel your anus and squeeze it. Till the fire begins to burn in the middle. And the body intuitively responds by letting go. You can stay like this. If you want to do the full posture, you put your right elbow underneath your left and you wrap your hands together. This is quite challenging on shoulders, and it is not necessary. But it is beautiful to do, if you can do it without pain. When you release your hands, just allow your body to come as forward as it wants to go. I'm using my hands a little bit into the floor, pressing to brace it a bit, so I don't hurt my back. And then we'll try the other side. So you need to move your legs back together. And we'll start again on the knees, so the body can get used to it. Slipping the bottom from side to side. Then it's over to the left, right. Turning to the left. Again, hold your feet, squeeze the feet, the ankles, whatever you can reach. Grip, use that as a brace so you can pull up away from the earth, so your spine doesn't get squished. Looking over the left shoulder. And all the time, the pressure in the hands is strong. It's steady though. It's steady and secure. So you feel you can trust your yoga. Relax your legs. And then slowly and mindfully let go. And bring your left foot forward. And take the left foot beside the right thigh. Take your time if you've got hip issues or back issues, or just if you feel like it. You're going to grip this left knee really close, close, close. 2 hands are nice, till it gets kind of comfy. And you're welcome to stay like this. Or you can turn back. I like to open the front hand. Now slowly come forward and try this side. So we're going to move this right foot toward the left foot toward the right hip. I find if I put my hands on the floor and push, I can get a little bit of space under me briefly, into which I can lower. Because I've got various bits of me that don't work much these days. There's always a way of negotiating these postures. They are eminently flexible. And again, you can Interlace and grip that front knee. Long spine, feel the navel. And if you want to continue, you put your left elbow under your right and your hands together. I don't do this side, my right shoulder's a bit stuck. Cow face posture. As you release it, you can come forward as best as you're able to, or you can stay and just hold the knees fine. And now we'll release the legs. Take them in front, and again lying on the back. And relaxing, weightily. Arms above the head. Feel the lower back arch. Let it arch. Release your shoulders. And take your knees up a little bit. Then lift the knees. And take the feet over toward the hands. And see if you can hold your toes. Those of you who want to straighten your legs can do so. And release the legs. And sit up. Coming forward. Lifting one buttock. Lifting the other buttock. Creeping forward. Creeping forward. It's like you're rowing a boat. Uncurling. Rolling back, holding the back. Taking the left leg up. Bending the knee. Taking the right leg up so the left one comes down. If you want to touch the floor with it, you're welcome. From here you can go into a neck bridge by bringing the right foot over as well. And then return. And the right leg over. The knee bends and the foot comes down. And over. We're going to roll up. And stand a moment. Feeling the feet beautifully stable, beautifully even. And from the weight of the floor, you slowly rise the mind into the waist. And from the waist you feel the energy flowing up and growing lighter and lighter and lighter. Don't lift your chin too far forward, squeeze it back a bit. If you take the chin a little bit back, you'll get a sense of the Vishuddhi chakra in the throat. Make sure you're well grounded with the heels. And that the hands, as they hang beside you, if you bring them close so they touch, are not in forward of the legs or back of the legs, but they're directly beside. You can move the weight slowly from foot to foot. Until you maintain a steady pressure. Lifting the arms up. And down. Floating. This time prayer position is going to come down. Slice through the middle. Hands behind, interlace. Reaching back, chin forward, pubic bone forward. Legs are close together. Now take your thumbs in between your thighs and just slide down a bit, pubic forward, chest up. And maybe the neck can relax. Don't do it if the neck hurts. And release. And stand, eyes straight ahead. Either staying where you are or moving to a wall. We're going to do a tree. So just something that you can be close to for your own security. And you hold on to the wall or whatever it is you're holding. It might be a chair. And then if we're going to start off, say lift the left foot and bring the left foot in against the right thigh. And then you can release your arms and stretch them out. Then up. And down. And again, you stand a moment beautifully still. And then it's the right leg lifts. Right leg lifts, left foot down. And release. Arms up. And down. It's nice to savor that. Back to the front of the mat. Inhale up. Exhale forward and down. Bend your knees, reaching into the chair. Arching back. And opening. And standing to salute the sun. My mat seems to be sliding today.
Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward and down. Lift your head, ground your hands. Left foot steps back. Right foot steps beside. Stretch your dog. Lift your heels and bend your knees. Lift your face and bend your elbows as you straighten your legs and pull over your toes and lift your face. Pushing into the hands and over the toes, reaching back to the dog. Let the buttocks grow lighter as the armpits grow stronger. Lift your face and bring your left foot forward and your right foot beside it. Stretch your bottom to the ceiling, nose to knees. Bending the knees, reaching into the heels, lengthening the back, particularly the lower back's got to stretch out. Reaching up, lift the chest, thighs soft, bend, and up. Arms out and stand. Feel the back. As we salute the next, it's in the back with the mind. Forward and down in the back. Lift the head, stepping back, right leg in the back. Lift the heels and bend the knees. Lift the face and bend the elbows and draw yourself forward and up. Push into the hands and roll over the toes. Doing the dragon. Right foot forward between the thumbs. Left knee to the floor sinks down. Right shin is vertical. Relax into the pelvis. Adjust if you need to the position of your front foot so that it's nice and strong when you release your hands. You can hold the knee if you want to. It's better if you can reach down. The fire dragon has got the wings. You're going to inhale up and in and out. And in and out. And in and back and forward and down. Relax the neck. Move back so that this time you're sitting on your left foot. We did the other half of this, I think, earlier in the class. Hands come back. Arch. And carefully forward, mindful of your back, mindful of your hamstring. Uncurling, lifting the bottom. Forward with the hands, curl the toe behind into the dog. Lift the heels and soften the knees. Forward, bending the elbows, pulling smoothly over the toes and then up and over the toes and back.
left foot forward, right knee down. Settle. Feel the earth pulling at you. Really feel you can trust gravity. So gravity holds you down, and you can relax and inspire perhaps to the heaven. Then the arms come out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Palms together and down. Ground your hands. Try to make your yoga graceful. It's almost like a dance. Curl the toe behind, lift the back knee, stepping back to the dog. You can do as many vinyasas as you want to and as few as you want to. Heels, knees, face, elbows, toes, face, bottom, heels. Move your left heel in towards your right foot and the right foot forward. So we're going to face the left side. You're going to bend the right knee. Bring the left hip in front. So you're bringing the left foot to the right. And you put your right elbow on your right knee. And your left hand can maybe hold into the lower back. Keep the hip forward. Keep the left foot nice and clearly to the floor. Not just the arch, but the side of that foot. Reach the front fingers to the ceiling. Lengthen your left arm beside you. Feel this diagonal line that starts with the leg and then lengthens into the arm. Even pressure in the 2 feet and the 2 elbows, the 2 hands, and then look back. You can look up if you prefer. You let the breath flow from the navel, streaming out, flowing back. And very slowly release, but rather than turning back to the front, we're going to turn to the left and just make your feet parallel. Place your hands under your shoulders and you take your legs as far apart as is good for you, as is comfortable for you. The wider it is, the more easily you'll get to the floor. You can have your hands further forward, makes it easier, but ideally the weight is mainly going to be on the feet. So we'll evenly press hands, evenly press feet. So push, inhale. Soften, exhale. Push, inhale, stretching between the hips. Exhale. Stretching between the armpits. Exhale. See what happens if you draw your sternum a little bit forward and take your anus a little bit back. So you're stretching the front of your spine. Lift your face. Look up a bit. Now bend your elbows and slowly come forward till you can relax your upper body. Hang your head and possibly hold your elbows, bringing them to the floor or letting them hang. You can leave your hands on the floor. Release your hands, come up. Walk to the left, bring the left foot to face the left side of the mat and the right toes to tuck in. We'll come down onto the right knee, lunge a bit. And then standing up. This time the left toes are in front, the right toes are tipped in. Bending your left knee, you bring your right hip forward. And come down, left elbow on left knee. Fingers reach up. Glue that right foot to the floor. Make sure that right hip is coming forward, otherwise it's not good for your back. Then the right arm lengthens and reaches up and cross. Stroking the posture with the breath. And releasing, coming down. Left foot goes back into dog. Then lower your knees. Flatten your feet. And fold over into child posture. Just let all of the effort dissolve. All of the effort dissolve. All of the effort dissolve. And slowly uncurl and prepare for Shavasana. Make sure you're warm. It's quite cool today, it certainly is here. So have a blanket if you need one to cover you. Just lying on the back. Begin with the elbows bent and the wrists soft. So the hands can hang, the fingers can hang like snowdrops. If you've seen the little snowdrop, they've got a tiny little tear of green on each petal. Beautiful green, light, pretty. And as you lower your hands, keep them really soft. Once they touch the floor, you'll need to lift and just ease your elbows in a little more closely So the backs of the hands can feel comfortable against the floor. And if you begin by stretching out your hands, putting webbing between the fingers and the thumbs. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, soften the hands. It's like you're stepping into Aladdin's cave. Vast, jeweled space where light dances. And breath finds harmony. Just begin to observe your exhaling breath. And see if you can squeeze a few more drips of breath out of you before you inhale again. So that the next in-breath can be more spacious. And then when you breathe out again, you really empty. Into that same spaciousness. Which is also a lightness. Once you find that place, you don't have to do anything. But be part of what you're feeling right now. Take your mind into your ankles. And maybe squirt a little bit of WD-40 to kill some of the rust. Same with the toes. Try the knees. The hips. And of course the vertebra of the spine. You could almost have, a little oil can and go squirt, squirt, squirt along each vertebra. noticing how each vertebra responds. The spine becomes almost alive. A graceful dancer. And you feel the shoulders and the elbows. And the wrists and the fingers and the thumbs. The chest. All the intercostal muscles. Working in harmony. Protecting the heart. The glorious throat chakra, Vishuddhi, your creative soul, and then the face and the crown, the mind, Ajna, once you can fully let go, you don't have to try anymore. You don't have to try anymore. The sound could almost be swelling, growing the light, or it could be very softly dimming the light. But your body knows that sound, and if you allow it, it will begin to move and find its way with you on board. Back to a moment of sitting. Let your lower back arch, so you're not forward like a C, but you're up like an S. But not too stuck out in the chest, it's mainly in the lower back. And we just take the hand and just touch the crown of the head. Give it, pull the hairs nice. You get it. It's pretty. It's not too sensitive. And then when you let go, you'll feel that spot. Close your eyes and let the mind sit in that spot. And take an imaginary match and light it right on that spot. Feel a wonderful candle flame. And watch everything else disappear into the background. And thank you, Namaste. Before I go, you probably already know, but I'm going to start classes again, unless circumstances change, which they may, on Monday the 13th of
July. So I will continue the online classes. There are several people who aren't able to come to the studio. So let me know if you want to continue or whether you want to book a place for next term. I'll have to limit the places a bit because I'm limited in numbers. But talk to me anytime you want to, and thank you so much.